Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Countercharge Videocast, episode number 1. I'm Andrew Sherman, and today I'll be playing with my Basileans and Kingdoms of Men allies against Scott Helbling and his Ratkin. In today's episode, you'll notice that I have 2 units of Elohai, I have a horde of knights, 2 units of foot troops, 1 peg rider, 3 arbalasts, a wizard, and a priest, both of which are mounted. You know, as far as the list for the Ratkin goes, I have to say I'm not 100% used to it yet. Basically, I know he's got a horde of shock troops, a horde of blight, a death engine, some rat ogres, some scurriers, some claw shots, 2 pieces of artillery, and a mutant rat fiend, along with his standard bearer that's over there. So this is going to be a fun game. Scott's always a good player to play against, and it'll be my first experience against the Ratkin. So I notice I've been reading the book right now, and I have more range than the Ratkin do as far as movement. So I decide I'm going to push pretty far forward. Not necessarily all the way to put myself in charge distance from him, because he does move 6, but mainly just to make certain that, you know, I'm in turn 2, I'm going to get my charges off. And this is important because I don't have the combat power that I've taken in some other lists. In particular, I don't have the combat power that he's got with the multitude of hordes. So I figure this time it's better to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And starting out after movement, you know, I'd move on to shooting, and I figure, you know what, I've got to take care of some of this chaff, so that way my movement's really going to play in my favor. So I take out some scurriers, I go out and I do 4 wounds there, and I also try to eliminate this threat of the claw shots right in front of me, because if I don't get these claw shots, they do quite a bit of damage. They have a very high piercing value, and let's face it, if I don't hit them with something that's high crushing strength or high piercing, I'm never going to get them to begin with, and the arbalasts are the best chance I got. Nerve rolls are good to me, and I'm actually able to remove both units. You know, I think I roll a 7 with one and a 8 with the other. So, you know, right around average, but both units are gone. This really helps out my cause because now I don't have to worry about a 3rd unit firing at me, as well as the scurriers getting in my way and, you know, chaffing up my Elohai. We move on to Scott's turn, and Scott tries to measure and make certain that he's in range of that death engine there. Oh my God, that death engine. That thing's a beast. It was probably the MVP for him in this game. But he does play some cat and mouse with me over here because I move forward and stayed out of his range. He realizes he's not getting any charges off, so instead he starts setting up a defensive position, as you'll see in this picture. You know, he actually moves half of his units backwards because he's trying to deny me the ability to go ahead and charge, at least favorably. He says, you know what, it's okay that you're going to go ahead and charge. You can either charge a blight or you can charge just the shock troops, but if you get one of them, you're going to lose the other if you don't break me. And he does go on me after shooting, and he targets my knights because he does see I've only got the 1 horde on the tabletop, and he does 8 wounds. And I kind of, you know, I'm not too worried unless he goes ahead and he rolls himself double 6, because I do have a nerve of like 23, so I should be okay. But, you know, it is always a little bit, you know, tense when you're taking that nerve test. I do go ahead and pass the nerve test. He doesn't roll double 6, and I'm able to charge the shock troops. My Pegasus Rider does also get into the cannon that's over there, the piece of artillery. And the reason that's important is because if I can pop 1 piece of artillery and get one of the hordes out and this early in the game, in game 2 or turn 2, I've got a really good chance of just steamrolling them. I went ahead and moved my shield wall all the way up, trying to make certain that if my knights don't break the shock troops, and he goes ahead and he charges with the blight afterwards, that if I somehow survive, that I can start going ahead and attacking either with a shield wall, or I'll go ahead and make the decision to charge the artillery piece over there instead. And if I get that, you know, hey, that could be pretty much game, set, match for his ranged attacking. I bounce off his shock troops. I do like 20-some wounds, but I roll double 1s, and it's just all she wrote. That allows his blight to go ahead and charge me in the flank. His, what do you call it, guys, are wavered, but the blight getting me in the flank, in the horde of halberders. It didn't matter that I healed the knights earlier last round. Yeah, I'm done dealing here. That unit's going pop and going bye-bye. At this point in time, he realizes that he can't outrange me with Elohai, so he's just going to go ahead and bull forward with the Mutant Rat Fiend, and he's going to see what the Elohai can do to it. He does manage to take out the Peg Rider with the Death Engine, though, which makes me very sad because I was hoping to go ahead and take out a flank charge on that Shock Troop unit there just to get them out of the way and bring the Elohai up to the War Engine. He also gets a chance to go ahead and wound the Priest there, which doesn't bode well because, you know, at this point in time, I'm going to be disordered with everything that I charge, so I'm going to need that Bane Chant to give me the crushing strength when I need it later on. He goes ahead and, as you can tell in this picture, he has killed my knights. It's just, it was game, set, match. When I was going to get 60 attacks in the flank, I wasn't going to survive that. Now, though, as you can see, I do get that charge off with the Elohai into the artillery piece here on the side, which bodes really well for me because this is a good round. I am able to go ahead and charge a shield wall into the other unit of artillery there. And before I even get to combat and decimate both units of artillery, my shooting don't fail me now. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, it takes out the shock troops with them last couple of wounds that I needed. And, of course, I don't roll the double ones, so I'm actually okay in this turn. As far as the artillery goes, you're right. It does get completely deleted, and I leave them in that position where they're facing that direction. Why? Because I want to kind of make certain that his death engine doesn't, you know, his death engine doesn't get any ideas, as well as make certain that I'm facing that nice, good, juicy rear of that blight there, because I've got a 20-inch move, and as long as he doesn't kill that shield wall in front of me, I should still be able to hit him. And I was right. He doesn't kill the shield wall, and not only that, but it leaves him in position to take a rear charge from the Elohai. And on my turn, that blight unit, it didn't matter if they were -1 or not, they just decimate him. In the shooting phase between my wizard with the +2 lightning, you know, casting lightning 5 every time, he finally takes out the death engine along with the support of the 3 Arbalasts. I cannot speak enough about having Lightning 5 in this game. Lightning 5 is huge, and I feel like I need to take it every game. Shortly afterwards, you know, I make short work of that blight, and in the following turns, what we find is his mutant rat fiends finally get 2 of my Arbalasts. So he's got some, you know, points under his belt, but my Elohai have now started charging his mutant rat fiend. I get both of them out on the front. Of course, I bounce off, and then he charges me and he bounces off. And this becomes a long, drawn-out last couple of turns where what's his mutant rat fiend going to take on and what's he going to be able to kill. And it turns out 2 units of Elohai after multiple rounds of combat are just better than 1 mutant rat fiend. Although that mutant rat fiend is pretty scary. What happens basically is the fact that I'm able to execute a flank charge off on the 3rd round of combat, and it's just craziness amount of attacks killing him. And that leaves at that point in time the only thing left being the standard bearer. So, you know, this game goes to a big victory for me by about 1,000 points, and we're going to go real quick now into an interview with Scott and see how he felt about it.
Scott, we just got done playing a Kings of War game. What'd you think, buddy?
I liked it. Very tactical in the game where we had the one point where we thought was going to end the game, and
turned out it wasn't what it was, right?
No, you pulled it out of your backside there at the end. But I think the most thing that surprised me is probably the movements, how much you have to take into consideration with a little bit different line of sight going from the center of the unit as opposed to the whole unit, and just taking into consideration the distances since everything's pre-measured, and making sure you're trying to stay out of everyone's charge arc and distance while maintaining being in yours and in the range, which is hard in this game, for this particular game for me, since you outranged me on just about all your important units. Yeah, that came as a surprise.
A lot of things were like 1 inch was all it took, and if it had been 1 more inch, I wouldn't able to get in there. And we looked at a couple of the different things, and like one where that rear charge came from the Elohai, you know, that was 1 inch difference, and that wouldn't have been a rear charge. Yeah. That would have been a charge at all, right?
Yeah, if I had been able to kill the swordsman and move beyond your range, that would have definitely have changed the course of the game. But a little bit below average rolling and some lucky rolling on your part there at the end.
Oh, listen to you. You're blaming the dice. Blaming the dice. True gamer here, blaming the dice.
That's right.
So, did you enjoy the game?
Yes, it was a very good game. I definitely think Kings of War is making a good move by adding those things that people from Warhammer Fantasy are missing and giving us the free armies, which is probably the only reason I would try this, because they did the Ratkin army. I think they actually did a very good job of encompassing the flavor of the army in just the basic rule set they have out, and let me use my models.
So you interested in playing again sometime?
Oh, definitely.
All right. Well, Scott, been a great time. Thank you much for getting a chance to play the game against me. And next time, hey, you can go ahead and break that streak you got going, right?
We can certainly give it another try or two.
All right. See you, buddy.
Yep, bye.